They laughed at you. You remember it. That day when you stood up with a dream in your heart and fire in your eyes, and they, your classmates, your family, your co-workers, laughed. Not the soft kind of laugh, not even the nervous kind. No, the loud, mocking kind. The laugh that says, "Who do you think you are?" The laugh that echoes through your ribs and settles in your chest like a weight. They laughed because they couldn't see it. They couldn't see what you saw. They couldn't feel what you felt. They couldn't hear that quiet, unshakable voice inside you saying, "This is your path. This is your purpose." They couldn't believe in you because they never believed in themselves. You were different. You still are. That difference, that's the reason they targeted you. That's the reason they chose to mock, because your courage shines a light on their comfort. Your ambition exposes their apathy. Your discipline threatens their excuses. So they laughed. They laughed when you said you were going to lose the weight, when you told them you were going to start a business, when you said you'd wake up at 4 o'clock a.m. every day to chase your dream, when you passed on the party, skipped the vacation, sacrificed comfort for a bigger purpose. They rolled their eyes, they smirked, they whispered when you walked away. But here's what they didn't know. Every single laugh was fuel. You weren't offended. You were ignited. You weren't hurt. You were hardened. And while they were too busy watching your past, you were building your future. They didn't see the late nights, the early mornings, the sweat, the failure, the lonely meals, the aching muscles, the tears that hit the floor when nobody was around to witness them, the countless times you wanted to quit but didn't. They don't know how many times you collapsed to your knees and said, "I can't," but still got back up and whispered, "But I will." They only saw the surface. They saw the skinny kid with no muscle. They saw the dropout, the broke dreamer, the single parent, the stutterer, the rejected. They saw weakness. They didn't see the warrior within, but you did, and you never stopped. You kept going when nobody clapped. You worked when nobody watched. You bled when nobody cared. You see, most people are afraid of effort without applause. They crave validation more than victory, but not you. You learned that silence is your sanctuary, that obscurity is your advantage, that the shadows are where champions are built. They laughed and you smiled, not because it didn't hurt, but because it meant you were on the right track. The truth is, the laughers will always be louder than the workers, because mocking is easy, building is hard, but you weren't looking for easy, you were looking for better. So you took their laughter and turned it into rep. You turned it into books, into hours of practice, into pages of goals, into videos, script punches, miles, sales, swings, and steps. Every ounce of mockery became part of your metamorphosis. You turned from the joke into the juggernaut, from laughed at to unstoppable, from rejected to respected. And they still don't get it. They still think you're lucky. They still think you just got a break. But you know the truth. You created the break with every piece of you that refused to quit. You know what it's like to be laughed at. And now you're going to show them what it's like to be in awe. They laughed when you said you had a dream, mocked you when you told them you were going to make it. They rolled their eyes when you chose discipline over parties, training over distractions, purpose over pleasure. But you didn't stop. You didn't fold. You didn't let their laughter define your limits. You let it fuel your fire, because deep down you knew they were laughing out of fear. Fear that you'd become everything they never had the courage to chase. Success isn't loud in the beginning. It's quiet. It's lonely. It's just you grinding in the dark with nothing but a whisper in your chest that says, "Keep going." The world doesn't believe in whispers. It believes in results. But you believed before there was proof. That's what made you different. That's why you're still standing. That's why you're rising. Every hour you spent building in silence, they didn't see it. Every rejection, every failure, every moment you questioned your own sanity, they weren't there. They only see the surface, the highlight reel. But you lived the B-sides, the pain, the doubt, the sacrifices, and still you rose. They said you weren't good enough. You got better. They said you'd never make it. You kept showing up day after day, setback after setback. You didn't stop when it got hard. You kept going until it became harder to stop. Now they don't laugh. Now they stare. Now they whisper your name like it's a myth, a legend, because they can't believe the same person they mocked is the same one winning now. There is nothing more satisfying than success born from struggle. No trophy is heavier than the silence you had to bear on your way up. And no applause is louder than the moment you make those same doubters eat their words. That's not just revenge, that's redemption. And you earned it. Your scars are your armor, your past, your power. You didn't win despite the pain. You won because of pit. Every time they doubted you, they added fuel to the fire. And now you're burning so bright they can't look away. This is the part where the underdog becomes the legend, where the story flips, where your name no longer brings laughs but respect. You don't need to say a word. Your success is the speech, your rise is the revenge, and your triumph, it's the silence that follows every laugh they threw your way. They laughed at you until you won, and now they watch, and now they learn, and now they wonder how you did it. But you know, it was grit, it was pain, it was every single day you showed up when quitting would have been easier. This is your era, the era of proof, the era of payoff, the era where legends are no longer born, but revealed. And guess what? You're it. You're the storm they thought was just a breeze. You're the victory they never saw coming. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Just don't let them stop you. They laughed when you said you had a dream. They smirked when you mentioned your goals. They whispered behind your back thinking you'd never hear them. He's not cut out for this, they said. She'll never make it. That laughter, that doubt, that was the spark. They don't know your pain. They don't know the nights you cried into your pillow, the mornings you didn't want to wake up, the times you sat alone, broken, empty, shattered. But you got up anyway, you fought through it, you kept moving forward while the world waited for you to fall apart. They thought they buried you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Revenge doesn't come with fists, it comes with progress. You don't need to shout, let your actions be the echo. Let success be the roar that silences every voice that doubted you. Don't argue with critics, build a life they can't ignore. You see, the strongest revenge isn't getting even, it's rising so high they can't reach you anymore. They'll look back and say, we were wrong, but by then you won't be looking back at all. You'll be too busy winning. Pain is your personal trainer. Betrayal is your fuel. Doubt is your sharpening stone. Every lie they told about you, every time they turned their back, every door that slammed in your face, good, that's the kindling for the fire that will never die in you. The same people who laughed at you will replay your story on repeat. They'll say they knew you all along. You're not here for comfort, you're here for conquest. You're not made of sugar, you're made of scars and soul. You've been bruised but never broken. You've been laughed at but never silenced. You've fallen, but you didn't stay down. Every time they knocked you down, they were just helping you find the floor so you could bounce higher. You want to give up? Good. That means you're close. Quitting is always loudest right before the breakthrough. Your body will scream. Your mind will beg for a break. But if you just hang on, just one more rep, one more minute, one more breath, you'll change your whole story. Look in the mirror. That person staring back, that's the one. That's the person who will turn the you'll never make it into how did they do it. You've got war in your veins, purpose in your bones. You are the storm they never saw coming. The road will get dark. Friends will disappear. People will betray you. Good. Let them, because the top is a lonely place and the climb filters the weak. Don't be surprised when the ones who clap the loudest in the beginning are the first to vanish when it gets real. Let them go. You're not climbing for them. You're climbing for the kid in you who believed in miracles, for the teen in you who dared to dream, for the grown version of you who's tired of average. You're doing it for the future version of you who doesn't settle, who doesn't break, who walks into every room like they own it because they built it. This ain't just motivation. This is war. A war between who you are and who you're meant to become. A war between the past that tried to break you and the future that's waiting to reward you. Fight for it, bleed for it, crawl if you have to, but don't stop. And when you get there, don't just stand on that mountaintop. Roar. Roar so loud they hear you in every room they doubted you. Walk into every place you were once rejected with your head high, shoulders back, and silence the noise with your success. Because the truth is, you were never supposed to fit in. You were made to stand out, to rise above, to shake the earth with your steps, to leave echoes behind for generations. This is your story, your redemption, your legacy. The world laughed at the caterpillar, but they worshiped the butterfly. And you're just getting started. They laughed, they mocked, they doubted you. Remember? They told you you'd never make it. They said you were too slow, too weak, too average. Maybe they didn't say it to your face, but you heard it. You felt it in their eyes. You felt it when they didn't believe in your dreams, when they brushed you off, when they treated you like a background character in your own story. But what they didn't know is that you were just getting started. And now you're a different animal. You felt failure and turned it into fuel. You've faced rejection and molded it into resolve. You've tasted rock bottom, and instead of breaking, you built your throne there. That's the difference between you and the rest. You took the hit, you took the pain, you took the silence, and you stayed standing. The laughter, let it echo. The mockery, let it ring. That's your rhythm now. That's your beat. That's your war drum pounding louder with every step you take forward. Because every second you spend grinding, someone out there is wasting theirs laughing. Let them watch while you rise. There's a moment in every warrior's life when the world expects them to quit, when even the closest people start stepping away, when the claps stop, the likes vanish, the support dries up. That's when it gets real. That's when champions are separated from the common, because that's the furnace of transformation where the weak melt and the chosen are forged. They said you couldn't do it? Good. That means it's worth doing. They didn't believe in your dream? Perfect. That means it's big enough. That means it threatens the comfort they've built around their small lives. Don't let their limits become yours. Don't let their fear become your future. Keep pushing, keep building, keep proving, not to them, to you. Because this fight, it's between you and the voice in your head that still remembers the pain, and it's between you and the old version of yourself that wants to stay in the shadows. You want light? Then earn it. Every drop of sweat you shed in silence, one more layer of armor. Every setback you endure with your head held high, one more reason you'll never break. Every laugh they threw at you, one more stone you used to build your empire. You were made for this moment. You were made to rise, not fall. You were built for legacy, not mediocrity. And when they look back, when the same mouths that laughed start whispering your name with respect, that's when you'll know you turned every doubt into dominance. So keep climbing, keep swinging, keep marching through the noise, because soon the world won't be laughing. It'll be listening. They laughed until you won. Now it's your turn to laugh, all the way to greatness. If this lit a fire in your soul, subscribe to this channel for more raw, powerful motivation. Smash that like button if you're done with the doubt. Drop a comment with "I will rise" if you're ready to prove them wrong. Share this with someone who's been counted out, because this is just the beginning of your comeback.